Hello, 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 and welcome to the BTMS show. How's everyone doing today? This week, we're kind of getting back to the normal schedule. For those of you who have joined us before, you'll be a little bit more at home with our usual panel discussion. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, this is the BTMS show, a show where we talk with the people of Philadelphia Nightlife and the LGBT community and discuss current events, discuss what's going on in Philadelphia, discuss whatever we want to talk about. And our proceeds go to pay our artists and also to pay for the Black Trans Protestors Emergency Fund. So normally we go with the Performance Emergency Fund, but this week, because of everything going on, we've decided to go with the Black Trans Protestors Emergency Fund, which is a little different than what it said on the little screen there. But half of our, well, not half, all of our guests will get split evenly, and the fund will get split, and we'll get some of those funds over to help Black trans protesters in need, especially as people are getting arrested, as we need bail. So before I keep rambling too much, because I've had too much caffeine today, let's bring on our next guest so someone else can ramble for a little bit. You've probably seen them on the streets all last week and into the weekend, bringing to the stage Zsa Zsa Dali.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for having me, Beary.
Thanks for being here. Oh my gosh, I feel like I never get used to just talking to a camera with no audience feedback. I'm just like, I'm rambling now.
It's so weird and so trippy, but hey, it's what we got to do these days.
Getting used to the new normal. Everyone says that these days, the new normal. Probably should have had one less coffee than usual, but oh well. Speaking of having too much caffeine, this bubbly ball of energy from the South is always a good time, and I always love seeing them. She is like a chef that you may know, but she doesn't really cook. That's a lie. She cooks really well. But welcome to the stage, Paula Deen-White.
Oh, hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Promise my lips are blue, not ashy.
I mean,
We'll believe that. We'll believe that, sure.
You better. How's it going?
going all right. How are you?
I'm adequate. I made a very disgusting mixed drink just now.
Disgusting. What's in it?
It is a vodka Coke because I looked it up and found out it was a thing. I always thought you mixed dark liquor with dark sodas or whatever, but apparently not. It's gross though.
Interesting. That might be the problem with the vodka.
You don't taste the vodka really, which is my issue. I should have just got vodka on the rocks. You know, I made, not got. Like, there's no bartender in my kitchen.
Yeah, that's always the drawback. Well, this one's always a bartender's friend because you can catch them dancing on the bar. Welcome to the stage, Christian Williams.
Yeah.
Hi, beautiful people, members of the queer public. Nice to be here.
We stand.
So how's everyone doing today?
Exhausted but fabulous.
Exhausted and a little less fabulous, but probably more exhausted. So it balances out. I don't know. You've been doing a lot, though.
There you go.
And I'm fresh off of a work day. So, you know, we going to do this and then we going to head to bed because we're tired.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like everyone was coming from something today or doing something else today. And I think Zsa Zsa was just saying that you did your makeup real fast today.
Yeah, 45 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
The talent.
I gave myself 2 hours and then only used an hour of it. And I was like, now I'm ready really early. What's wrong with me?
Wow. And here I am with a 30-minute little highlight, little blush.
I do love that though.
Little lash, little everything. That's the Paula voice. You all don't get that.
I love the Paula voice.
That's the big money voice. It's only slightly different.
But it is markedly different. Like, you do have like a character when it comes to Paula Deen-White.
Yes, now I'm just half naked in my bedroom.
I mean, how does that vibe with the character of Paula?
There's no character here. I'm just naked. Oh, I'll show you all here. Is it gonna get blurred out?
Gonna get juicy. Hey!
Oh, look at the arch.
She got
I'm not even a bottom.
She got a dog.
Issue. I decided to dress up special because this is the first time I've touched makeup in like 3 weeks.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling. It's literally been 2 weeks for me as well. I feel like it was so like strange being at my makeup table again.
It is strange times.
And I had to dust off the old Pride palette, and this is the first time I've used that in a very long time. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm like sad because the Pride palette is like some of the pans are like completely empty and some of them are not. But either way, it's going to expire in a few months. So I'm just like trying to use it all.
Makeup doesn't expire. Just spritz it with some rubbing alcohol. You'll be fine.
Is that how that works? I don't know.
Isopropyl.
Put it in the comments if you think that's a good idea.
Great idea.
Right. Some alcohol. So yeah, some isopropyl and some prayer.
Yeah, it's mostly because most of the makeup you have to. Well, if you're thinking powders, they're just minerals. Do rocks go bad?
Yes. Yes, they do.
They don't.
Are you sure? So how did everybody here get involved in the Philly nightlife scene?
Who's been here the longest? Who's been in the Philly nightlife scene the longest here? I'm like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, I think it's you. I think you're the longest out of this group.
Oh, well, I got into it because I was forced to move here for my day job from Virginia, where you have to drive like an hour and a half to 2 hours away to get to the nearest gay club, and then another hour in the opposite direction to get back to get to a lesbian club because they couldn't be the same thing. No. So I was like, oh my goodness, it's like the big city. This is like New York for me. It's like, and I just wanted to do things. And like, I had a lot of downtime. For those of you who don't know, my day job, I am a flight attendant. So I was sitting around a lot, not actually going anywhere. And I was like, I've always wanted to do this. I have theater background. I'm a performer. Let's go out and do this thing. And slowly but surely, I established a thing, a persona.
A thing.
And nightlife. I've had a lot of hills and valleys, so to speak, with how I feel about it. But that's later in this discussion. So I got into it by being curious and not having that exposure from where I'm from. And it was great at first.
Yeah. And I thought Boston was bad, but an hour in one direction, an hour in another direction for the
lesbian club, it was like,
goodness. Like Boston's bad enough because when I lived up there before I was in Philly, and there's 3 gay bars. I think one of them's closed. There's now like 2 gay bars, and they're not in the same neighborhood. So you can't just like go out and go bar hopping. You like have to commit to a neighborhood.
Boston is terrible for a lot of reasons.
Every time I mention the idea of like even remotely considering moving to Boston, I just hear an audible "ugh" from Beary. She's like, "Don't do it!
Don't do it!"
Listen, I've only lived in blue cities, and by far, I feel like Boston was the most racist city I've lived in. To be quite honest,
it has a very bad reputation for racism. I can say it. I'm one of the racisms, not racist. Racisms.
Racisms. Paula personally is a racism.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know.
Exactly.
What about you, Zsa Zsa? When did you get started in Philly, and when did you start performing overall?
I got started in Philly and in drag coming up on a year. It was July last year. And I had always been interested in it and wanting to explore my gender expression. And I had grown up doing theater.
Oh, common thing.
Those fun things. Dead Body number 4 in Les Mis.
Ooh. What a big part. Dead Body number 4. I need your autograph later.
And I really committed to doing drag in the Philly scene because I was at basically rock bottom, and I was like, I got nothing else to lose this summer, and I committed to it and fell in love, and it helped me pull my shit together.
That's awesome.
Love it. What about you, Christian?
Well, I've definitely technically the baby of the group when it comes to performance because I haven't actually really even made an official debut yet. So there you go.
Baby, we've all-
But it's been in the works for a while. Like the rest of us, apparently, definitely started off with an interest in theater and all that stuff. I was really interested in it in middle school. And then I just kind of fell out of it, bullying and mean stuff like that. Fell out of it in high school, didn't really see the need to pursue it, but it's always kind of been there. And over the past year or two, I've definitely come into my own as a person, and I am much more in love with my body than I ever have been. And so I've been considering what it would be to mount a box and become a go-go dancer or to become a burlesquer. And I am in the process of exploring what that means for me, which is, it's beautiful being in the Philly scene because I get to surround myself with so many really talented and really cool performers to learn from. So.
Okay, suck up.
I mean,
I was like, who said it was you though?
Oh no.
Oh, not me. I didn't say that. I'm just saying, sucking up to my audience of 14 people right now,
14
all of
is
the
more than negative 14.
True.
I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
Very near and dear to my heart.
So
Very
Christian,
near and
do
dear to
you
my
have,
heart.
and as I said, the numbers jumped up. It's like, hey, you new people, I don't appreciate you at all. Just the 14 that were here already. So Christian, do you have a name picked out for your go-go career / burlesque career?
I do. So Beary knows this, but originally my performance name was supposed to be Allie Beary. And we were gonna keep with the theme because we're sisters, but I decided to go with a little bit, something a little bit more inspired. So my performance name is gonna be Xander Extrava. And the reason being, there are some influences there. My middle name is Alexander, and I earned my middle name by virtue of Alexander the Great. That was the inspiration. So epic conqueror, the original colonizer. So we don't really talk about that, but just very brave and brilliant on the battlefield. And then Extrava is a nod to the House of Extravaganza. I am not a Ganza, do not claim to be a Ganza, but I am a beautiful brown Puerto Rican boy who has looked up to the House of Extravaganza ever since my first look at Paris is Burning. And so I felt like channeling that into my performance persona. And who knows, maybe it'll catch their attention.
Maybe you'll become an official member.
Right? I would.
You're like, I would literally die.
Right. I would take the name and then I would croak. Yeah, pretty much. But
yeah, put it on the tombstone.
Oh, we got quite a few comments while we were talking.
See, I've been paying attention.
You've been paying attention? I don't pay attention. I rarely pay attention.
Ken has been anything. A bitch. So
I was just about to do that one. Escape said, "Flying the friendly skies," and Samantha Satan said, "She ain't friendly."
Oh no.
I thought you misspelled friendly for a second.
I guarantee you that Paula is friendly. Paula knows how to put on a customer service voice for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Absolument.
Absolument.
I don't speak French, but I don't know what I was about to say.
I don't speak French at all because I don't understand how the vowels work. I'm like, how does every vowel have 14 pronunciations? It makes no sense to me.
It hurts. It hurts that way.
It doesn't make sense. And then, of course, we have, come on, Rainbow Harness.
That one's a good one.
We love a harness moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like going back and forth between the video because, there's this delay. And I'm trying to stay abreast.
I don't know who this is in reference to, but
I'll mount your box, Samantha. That's definitely toward me. Okay.
I'm sure. I have no doubt.
That box is filled with razors and vinegar.
I thought you said raisins for a second. That box is filled with raisins.
I mean, like, sure, fine. I like raisins.
That works too. Just dries up anything that's near it. Oh.
Well, our next question, before I say our next question, I'm just going to give another plug here as a reminder for everyone. All of the tips we received tonight are split between our guests and the Black Trans Protestors Emergency Fund. So please donate if you are able to. But speaking of protests, how have you all been out showing support for Black Lives Matter? I know I've seen all of you doing a little bit of something, but talk about what it's been like the past few weeks as protests have ramped up. And what have you been doing? How have you been keeping sane?
Who's going to go first? I went first on the last one. Someone else go.
I can go first. So for me, just for context, I live about 25 minutes outside of Center City. So literally right at the Delaware border. If you've ever been to that huge Total Wine at the border, I'm literally right across the street. So that's where I'm at. And so I'm not in Center City, and I kind of felt like I'm also asthmatic, and so I felt like maybe going out into those crowds wouldn't be the best idea for me. But I've been really focused on doing some really positive work in spaces where I feel like I have power and influence. Most recently, I've been doing it within my fraternity, which shall remain nameless. Not because of anything other than the fact that I don't feel like name dropping them right now. If you want to find out who I'm affiliated with,
you don't want to be ratchet in your letters.
But right, exactly. But yeah, I've just kind of been operating in that space. I'm a national volunteer with the organization. And so we've been having a lot of really difficult but necessary conversations. And I've been reassured by the amount of my fraternity brothers that have made their stance known and are at the very least wanting to give our members of color and our Black brothers the opportunity to express themselves. And really, one of the things that I've been able to do is create spaces for brothers of color and for LGBT brothers to be able to find each other and interact, which had not existed before. And now it exists for the entire fraternity to see, and is, headquarters knows about it, is okay with it. And that in itself is providing a sense of power to folks that traditionally have not had a voice within our organization and at large. And so I'm really proud of the work that I've been able to do in that space. And I'm always looking for other ways to be able to get involved from where I sit, at the very least.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important.
Awesome. So I personally have felt very lackluster on this front. I've spoken with a lot of people about it because I want to do more, because I feel like I have a personal obligation specifically as a Black male body. But it's really difficult for me for multiple reasons. And I feel like every time I think of the reasons, I feel like I'm making an excuse, and I feel even worse about it. However, people have spoken to me, like they've answered my questions, they've reassured me, and it's like I have a difficult time with social anxiety, and people always get like really confused. They're like, "But you're so social," and I was like, "That does not mean that I don't have social anxiety." And then also, I am petrified of catching coronavirus. I have 2 people in my personal circle who have caught it, and they lived, but it's months later and they're still affected by it. And they were healthy bodied people, and I am not that. So I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't feel comfortable on the social front or the medical front going out and protesting. Mm-hmm. What can I do to not feel like I'm not doing enough? So I have been on a personal front going through, and I don't argue with people, but I try to inform people. I realize if I can't inform them, they're not worth my time. because you can tell when people intentionally remain ignorant, or when they choose what facts they want to listen to, and when you refute them and say they're not facts, they double back. So for me, it's more of a like, I'm going out, I'm trying to educate people that I see social media wise. And it's a small thing, but I'm trying. So that's where I am. And then I see people going out and I try to say how grateful I am to individuals who are going out and doing these things, like protesting. And I know it's been a very emotional time for so many reasons. And this is just like, at first I was in a super depression. Like literally, I don't think I left my bed except to go to the restroom for almost 3 days when all of this occurred. And I just didn't know what to do with myself. And then when I started seeing the protests happening, it was like, people do care. And it's not just people who look like me who are affected directly. It's people who don't look like me who are may not be affected directly, but are contributing to the cause. So it's really uplifted me. So I'm more on a peak now instead of a valley. So I'm doing a lot better. And because of that peak, I have been trying to do more. Still feeling bad about how little I have done, but trying to do more. And that's for everybody who's feeling bad. You're not the only one.
No, that's super real. I feel like I went out for the first time yesterday, and like my roommate had asthma. He moved out, so like I feel like I can now, but I also feel like part of me is like, was I not going out for him, or was I like making excuses because I was afraid? Because like I've been like neurotic about this whole coronavirus thing. And like, as soon as I went out yesterday, I was like, it was rough because I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go out. And then people were not like really practicing social distance as much as I would have wanted. And it's like, you know what, like at this point, I've already left the house. I'm doing something important. I feel like this is worth it. But like, that was really a hurdle to get past that. Like we're protesting in coronavirus. And I feel like people who've been doing it for a week or two already, like probably have gotten over a lot of that more than I had in that first time out. Yeah. But it's like, I feel like I felt last week really bad about not being able to go out, even though I was scared. And so like, I just tried to do as much as I could, sharing as much as I could to other people, sharing resources, sharing lives. And a lot of what I shared was what Zsa Zsa was doing. I was sharing a lot of Zsa Zsa.
And don't forget what you, actually all three of you were saying. Those of us that are on the like front lines, like almost every day, the voices on social media, like I know like Ben Chell and like a whole bunch of other people who've been like making really big important posts and taking the social media front by storm. That's been a huge like motivator and spirit lifter for us out there. Like there've been like so many times like I've like come home completely exhausted, feeling like I'm fighting like a helpless fight, and I open social media and see like everyone sharing resources, offering to be there, popping off on people. So even if you aren't out there, know that by doing what you're doing with social media, with providing car rides, like I know Eric Jaffe and Belina Kanto are providing car rides for people from jail, or if they need to get away, or to protests. All of those things are keeping us pushing forward. So you are doing enough if you're doing something.
Oh,
there you go.
That means
right from Zsa Zsa, everyone can feel a little bit better.
Right from the face of the revolution out there.
Right, seriously.
Filming police officers.
I also think it's really important to understand that there's a lot of different roles that people can take. Someone actually just said that. Here we go. Gabe said, we all have to remind ourselves that activism takes on so many lanes, and we need folks in every lane. I greatly appreciate each of you in the ways that you've engaged with your comfort level. Very important. Well, thanks,
babe.
Yes. I'll care for that. I'll do a care react.
But that being said, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that is lower risk, but still very active, like doing jail support. Like you're not in the crowds. You're there to give like snacks and drinks to people as they're being released from jail. If they were detained during the protests, like there's other ways you can offer rides. You can donate supplies. You can pick up supplies and like there's so many ways you can do things that are more active and within your comfort level. And there's some people who are severely immunocompromised who are never going to feel safe leaving their house and doing protests. And that's like, you got to take care of yourself too.
Absolutely. I think it was Beary who made a post saying that we all have like a unique part to play in the revolution. So if you're like a yoga teacher, offer stretching and like online yoga classes to protesters. If you're a chef, offer to make and drop off some meals or have people pick up meals from your house. And like if you're a therapist, offer up some free resources or compile a Google Doc of ways to decompress from traumatic situations. Like there's a way for everyone to be involved, and each way is absolutely valid.
Yeah. Oh, and I will also add this. During all of this, I have still been working. My hours are drastically reduced. So I don't have like a job. I can't be in a plane from home. There's no way. I mean, maybe, but I don't think so. So I've been on call a lot, knowing that I'm not going to get called, but still fearing that if I do anything out in the world that I'm going to get called, and then they're going to be like, why aren't you here? And then I get fired, and then I'll be even a worse situation than reduced hours. So I'm like, and I'm moving right now. If anybody wants to help me, I am just a big old woe story right now. I'm playing my tiny violin. I got
which reminds me, send in tips because our tips are split amongst our performers.
There we go. Right. Paula is sad. Paula ain't performing. Paula ain't flying.
Yeah, that was like one of the other things. Like when I started this show, I was like, I'm still working full time, and like I'm not going out or doing anything. So I was like, let me put the money I would spend towards going out to like support the community. And like when I started the show, like I was like, even if I get no tips, I want to guarantee a minimum because I want to make sure that our performers are being paid for their labor. Because I think so often we're asked to do free shows or like donate our time or like come get dressed up and Uber to the gig for $10.
You know, it happens to the best of us. I still do. I'm 3 years performing, 4 years in the like being out in Philadelphia. And I still do free gigs. I don't have anything against it. I don't tell anyone that they shouldn't do them. Because when I first started, they were like, as soon as you start getting paid, don't ever accept a free gig because you're getting paid and you don't want to backtrack. Oh, several people told me that, and I didn't pay attention.
I disagree with that though. I feel like there's reasons to take free gigs. Like if you're donating your time to a charity, that's a good reason to do a free gig. If you're testing out new material. I mean, like if you're testing out new material at an open stage, or like you're doing a favor for a friend, but there's so many reasons to do free shows.
I do them all the time. I don't mind. I'm not going out of state. I'm not going out of state for it unless I'm already like on my way to somewhere. Like if a friend in Phoenix was like, "Hey, I got this show," and I'm like, "I have a layover in Phoenix. I'll do it." But otherwise, no. You got it.
Well, I mean, Eric Jaffe did the math, and like they did
did what?
They did the math. I know it's most
not math.
I was like, Eric Jaffe
did the math.
No, Eric Jaffe did not do.
Let me tell you what I had just heard and what had just occurred.
At the very least, I know Eric Jaffe enough to know that. I mean, teach their own, but.
And the math,
I'm not going to judge anybody's choices, but
drag. And so when they looked at like how much it cost for like makeup, costumes, hair, accessories, Uber to the gig, like it costs like $40 every time you do drag, even if you split the cost of things you use over and over again. Like you're not paying for a new makeup palette every time you do your drag, but if you split it across the number of like makeup looks you get out of one palette, like it adds up. So like that was hard. I mean, it's not really an issue anymore because everyone's doing shows from home. So if you record one video and send it to 10 shows and, you know.
Look, I've had people tell me or ask me not to do that. They're like, can I have this video exclusively? And I'm like, are you paying me royalties? It's every time.
Like if you're gonna ask for an exclusive video that you can't use over again, like that should be a paid gig.
Yeah, I'm grateful. But yeah, if you pay, yeah, take it. It's yours. I did it. It's fine. It's out there in the atmosphere. But if you didn't pay and you're asking,
Oh,
Ooh, did we lose
I think
Paula?
Paula froze.
Paula?
Hello?
Let's take this break to go to the comment
Oh.
section.
The math.
well, I
Talk about a
froze.
twist.
That's what I'm saying. A
Yeah.
twist. Quite the twist, actually.
And then Bretzo bringing it back. Exclusive video rights need exclusive payment. I agree. Pay your performers. What were you saying,
Which
Paula?
I would
Before
say
you
people before I was disconnected from my vulgarity.
Was that
I
what
don't
happened?
remember. I have no idea. I might have stood up again and showed my butt a little. And I was like, most people have been really wonderful about the digital drag shows, though.
Yeah.
About the videos, like receiving them, and like even like there's some that I haven't edited. I just sent to people and they edit it, and it was awesome. So I'm like, thank you, because video editing really annoys me.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
It is. I'm not
But
a
listen,
detail person.
I give props to anybody that's doing digital drag shows. I know that my go-go dad, his name is Danny J. He's based out of New York City.
Oh.
He was like, you should do like, or like sign up for one of these virtual shows. And I'm just like, I've been trying to work up the nerve and finally got the nerve to be able to do it in person. Now you trying to tell me to do it online? No, ma'am. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until we are back in person. So
it's really hard. I don't know how people do it so often, but I need the feedback of an audience. Like I like performing because of the audience, and so it's so hard to record a video and have no idea like how it's received.
I have found that pre-recorded numbers where I edit them and I can like do a watch party with my own videos, which only happened once, but it was so much better than when I did the actual live performances. Because for me, I've done 2 that were just me performing, and I felt like I needed to change my costume and my wig, not realizing that at a show, there's stuff in between your performances. Like if I did 4 performances for a gig, which I think only ever happened once, but if I live did 4 performances, there would be other performers like to break up that time. Or even if it was just one performer, at least there's a host saying, while they're doing this, let me talk to you all. And I was frantic in my kitchen, like throwing on this and throwing the wig off over here and putting this wig on. And it was just too much. So pre-recording them, I got to, even though I'm not a detail-oriented person, I got to pay attention to the details. I got to say, ooh, I didn't sync this up right. Let me redo it. Or, oh, let me change the filter on this. Like, and it was so much better. And then seeing people's reaction. Where the issue then is the copyright blocks, because they don't happen as frequently with live shows as they do with the pre-recorded numbers. Like they muted the shit out of my Fantasia and Jennifer Hudson show. And then 2 weeks later they were like, oh, these are approved. And I was like, well, thanks.
Gee, thanks. Couldn't do that well.
I was like, thanks, Facebook. It fucked me over, but yay.
Yeah, I feel like since I'm a live singer, I feel like it should be easier to do things because you don't run into that copyright issue. But at the same time, like I'm such a perfectionist that I feel like I get bogged down in those details and I keep watching over and over again. Like, okay, let me re-record this part, or like I'll do like one take and re-record because I messed up like one part in the middle. So it can be like really, I think I could get really obsessive when it comes to editing those videos.
Every person who's
Sorry, Paula.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'm talking a lot.
I really hate doing the pre-recorded numbers and even performing like live with the lip syncs. Like it just like I need the energy of the audience there to lip sync, even though my lip syncs are always horrible. So like I've been like really enjoying pushing like my creativity with like doing like cooking shows virtually, or like my Drag Me to Class series, which I never did in years. That's where I would be taking my drag.
Yeah, I
It's
like it.
It's funny though, because Drag Me to Class is like kind of similar to the like concept of this show before all of this happened. Like I was originally going to be like an educational, like let's talk about different topics type of show. And then all of this happened, and I was like, let's get people together because like I can't really. I was going to go to Samantha's to Satan Studios and like record each episode and have like a bunch of different guests and do all this stuff, and it's like, well, that whole
That
plan
went
went out
down
the
the
window.
tubes.
Nope.
It'll say I had so many plans for this month. Like at the end of March, I had all these shows. Like I made the flyers, I made the Facebook events. I didn't invite people to them yet, but I did all of these shows. And then because of my depression, I didn't do anything. Like I haven't put any shows out. I haven't done anything. And then I feel bad performing, and like I feel like I shouldn't be performing when so much is happening in the world. And I know a lot of people feel like that. And I know that it's not a thought that I should be having because performances could take people away from like an escape from reality. In a sense, it could help me personally develop. It could help in so many ways. But I also just feel like I'm being selfish doing them. So that's, in case you didn't wonder, that's why I haven't done any more digital drag shows. I'm working up the strength and courage to start back again because I do need to do them, income wise, and to keep up because a bitch don't really know how to do makeup. I just, a little highlight here and there, a lip, and I'm good. But if I don't practice, I feel like I'm gonna lose it all.
It's like riding a bike. It's a little like I took a few months off and like it was hard to get back into it, but once you get back to doing it, you get it all back. Like so don't worry too much about that.
Now I'm gonna show up looking like those puppets from RuPaul's Drag Race when they when they
Oh no.
redo
Or
the puppet drag.
The time when Rue did her own makeup.
I never saw that. I don't know about that. Send me a link.
I'll send you a link later.
Why do you think she wore face keenies for the finale?
Face keenies.
I feel a certain way about this because Rue has money and could have like done like an elaborate masquerade mask, or if you're gonna do a sleepover theme, do the Mrs. Doubtfire like cream mask with like cucumbers and shit. Like there's so many creative ways instead of just a plain blue face keenie. Like what are you doing?
Right.
Yeah, I feel like the Drag Race fan base as a collective was just like, what the fuck?
Well, I will say it'll be on record. I don't mind that, but I don't particularly care for RuPaul. The last season of Drag Race that I saw was season 9, and before that, I never watched it until season 8. So after season 8 came out, I watched season 8, and then I watched everything that had preceded that, season 8 and everything that preceded that. And then I watched season 9 because I was hosting a viewing party for it. And then I haven't watched anything since then. I don't really care for the show. And I don't have anything against people who do. I just don't personally.
Yeah.
It doesn't do it for me.
I only watch for the queens that they're featuring. Because it introduces me to so many new talents, especially now that they are incorporating a lot of different perspectives and ethnicities, and like it's just cool to see. I don't watch for the host anymore.
I see clips every now and again, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's inspiring. I like that. Oh, I had that idea. Like I do see clips, but I don't actively watch it. So I'm either busy on whatever day it's going on, or I'm playing video games.
Yeah, I didn't really watch the last season because we were hosting Genderquery on Friday nights. So it became like I missed the very first one, and I just never really got into last season. I do tend to watch it because of the drag queens themselves, but I don't really enjoy supporting Rue because I think the turning point was during season 10 when the Vixen was on, and Vixen like did not tell a single lie that whole season, and they painted her like a villain. And it's like she's just like telling the truth right now. So
yeah, if I get on this show, you all know, you better send all kinds of letters and tweets. but I would have to audition, and I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, people say you should do. People are like, you should do RuPaul's Drag Race, and I'm like, no. These are not other drag queens. These are friends who are like, who don't really know much about drag. Who are like, you should do it, and I'm like, no.
I go into panic attacks just thinking about a normal performance. I would probably just like explode thinking about going to a nationally televised, the internationally televised show. I would just be like, okay.
I don't even think I have enough drag to bring with me to fulfill even half the challenges.
Now that I do know that I have, I will say moving has really enlightened some things for me, because I had one bag of boy clothes and 14 boxes of drag. I didn't realize I had that much. And 2 of the boxes were just wigs. So I'm like, oh God.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier my roommate moved out. That bedroom is becoming a drag closet.
Drag closet. Drag closet.
The drag closet will be an entire bedroom.
This one has been talking about that for a long time.
Well, I literally asked my roommate to move out right before quarantine happened, and then or not quarantine, but shelter in place. I literally was talking to him about moving out, and looking for a new place, and then it was like, well, you're now at home, so this house is kind of small, and I feel like I haven't been doing a lot of drag because I feel really weird rehearsing, especially singing in front of other people. And so I would wait till he went on a walk and sing and record things and stuff, and it's I had an hour window because I feel really self-conscious about it's also weird to rehearse because you have to still kind of belt out loud, and so if your roommate's trying to study or do something and you're sitting in the corner going la 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 la, they're like, what the fuck?
I feel like that might be a quintessential difference between an introvert and an extrovert, because for me in my apartment, forget about it. I'll belt out in front of the 2 people that my downstairs neighbor told me today that the past year that she's lived there has heard me singing constantly, and it never bothered her. Or she said it never bothered her, but she noticed it, and I was like, oh, I didn't know you could hear me, but I'm not gonna stop.
Well, I think it also depends on who it is. If I was living with Christian, I'd be singing all over the place, and he'd be like, shut the fuck up. If I was living with Jeremy, we'd just be jamming out all the time. Jeremy break out his guitar, we'd just be singing, writing music. But I think my roommate was I'm trying to focus on something, I'm trying to work or something, so I can't be that loud person.
Oh, I do feel bad sometimes, but I feel worse on stage, even though I've rehearsed whatever song it is. As soon as I get on stage, I'm like, do I know these words? Am I hitting the right notes? Do I sound like a frog? I sound like a frog.
I hate when I can't get out of my head on stage. It's the worst thing ever. I literally did it at the beginning of this video. I was in my head and I was rambling, and I was like, stop rambling, stop rambling. Oh my God, stop rambling. I just couldn't break it.
It's I'm rambling. Am I rambling?
Yeah, am I rambling? Yeah, I'm rambling. Okay, stop.
The vodka helps me to calm down. It helps a lot. Vodka helps.
Speaking of Jeremy.
Oh my God, hi, Jeremy.
Yes.
Hi. Oh, and then Patty said, I'm offering my video editing services free for people of color, and for a donation for white folks can be for anything. So hit up Patty if you have video editing needs.
Thanks, Patty.
I don't remember what same question was.
We stand Patty.
We love Patty.
Yeah.
Gabe says, same question. I've been sharing a lot of these shows with friends and colleagues that may not be in a location, particularly non-urban, that hasn't given much consideration or thought to creating these virtual spaces. They greatly appreciate what we're doing in Philly.
Oh.
Yes, Philly is a great place for digital shows. What are your favorite digital shows since this has all begun?
Confessions with Ebony.
Yes. I love me some Ebony Icon.
I've seen
Icon
Ebony
Fails.
Icon Ebony Fails.
Yeah. And their show is on after hours every Tuesday at 9. So tune in with them afterwards.
You said after hours, and I heard HOUR.
After hours, yes. An after hours show. That's why it's called Confessions. It's after hours.
Gosh.
Yes.
have
Love
really
it.
enjoyed. I haven't really been watching it. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but I sort of disappeared. So I like post every now and again, but I haven't really been on social media. Like I don't see things. I've caught up on like 13 different anime series and played about 12 different video games fully during this whole time. So I'm out of the loop on the digital shows. I have been watching Black Diaries, but that was a threat because my drag
Your mother
mother,
was going to disown you.
Right.
she wouldn't disown me, but I'd probably disappear, and we don't want that. she knows people, and I'm afraid. Oh no, I've been recorded saying it now.
You're going to end up sewn up in a suitcase in someone's closet.
I was like, even though I'm not on the panel every week, I still watch it, which has helped me a lot because it's things that I knew from personal experience, but didn't feel like other people felt it. I thought it was just me and Vinchelle. And then realizing that other people felt the same way. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. It's not just us.
That's literally was going to be my answer. That is my absolute favorite show that has premiered.
Aww.
Like, it's so hard for me to focus on like shows like music. Like I feel like I need to be in like a certain mood, and I need to have the TV free to put the show on the TV. Otherwise, like I'll keep like exiting Facebook, and then it'll stop the video, and I'll be like, oh.
You come back, you don't know what's happening. You're like, forget this.
But like with Black Diaries, I will literally like sit there, it's like I'm on a video call with friends, or like I'm on the phone. Like I'll be pacing around my kitchen watching the Black Diaries and watching what everyone's talking about, like getting real into it.
I'm excited about tomorrow. So one of the RuPaul's Drag Race girls that I do know who they are is Jasmine Masters.
Jasmine Masters.
Oh my God,
something to say.
Yeah, she's going to be joining our panel. We're going to be discussing.
Come on, Judge.
So,
yeah. Anybody wants to join that show tomorrow on Vinchelle's page at 7:00, I believe.
I'll be there. I don't know when. I'll be there though.
Yeah, support Paula. Definitely watch that show and support these artists. Reminder to tip if you haven't already, and if you're able to.
To tie Black Diaries back to the protests, I actually bumped into some people at the protests who told me that they came out to the protests because they had watched Black Diaries and they realized how important this movement is.
So cool. We love that.
Also, like I've known Marcha for a little while. Like we've been friends for a while, but like I didn't really like get to know them until they were on that show, and I felt like instant friendship. I was like, I love Marcha.
The crazy drunk aunt. And that used to be my title. And then I stopped drinking for so long that I lost it. Then I was just crazy.
Well, if you remember, aren't we married? But I'm married to Drunk Paula.
Only Drunk Paula.
Only Drunk Paula. And
I'm
sober
tipsy
Paula.
right now, so that doesn't count. So don't be hitting me up.
Oh no.
I do love me some Drunk Paula.
Oh, so many people are married to Drunk Paula, though. I'm sorry. She's a polygamist.
Polygamous, yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yes, I know words. I went to collage. That's how you pronounce it, right? Collage. I even finished. I don't know how, but I made it through.
There's a Reliant K song that basically says, like, instead of going to college, I could have just taken a calligraphy course and made my own degree, and I feel that sometimes.
It would have been a little bit cheaper, just a little bit.
Yeah, well, actually,
give myself a nice PhD.
Speaking of college, I know Christian and I both work in higher ed, so I feel like I'd be remiss not to talk about it a little bit, considering.
Yes, what's the tea?
I mean, like, so colleges have been like completely changed since this has all started too. Like, we're both working from home, even though we usually work on a college campus. So what has it been like working from home and not being able to really interact with students one-on-one?
I mean, for me, my role specifically, I travel so often, specifically in the fall, typically in a typical year. That's not going to be happening this fall, but I tend to be always on the go during that semester. And so I am pretty used to just kind of like setting up shop wherever and just getting through emails and like working on stuff. So that wasn't necessarily a shift, but I do miss the students. I like my office was one of those where our student leaders would just kind of like drop in, and there would be a whole group of them hanging out at one time, and they would pop their heads into our offices and just strike up conversations. So and we would do that with each other as staff too. So it has definitely been a shift, and I didn't realize how much I needed to be able to like leave the apartment and go to work from a motivation standpoint until all of this happened. Because when my bed's right there, you mean my bed is right there?
Yep.
Okay.
That's my issue. Like I plop down in front of the television on my couch, and like work is so hard to do in that position. Just kind of like lean back, like watching television. It does not work.
Well, I don't have that issue because when they call me, I got to go to the plane and see people and be like, hey, welcome aboard. I mean, not that voice. It's a different voice. I'm slipping into Paula. It's drunk Paula. Welcome aboard. Thanks for flying American. I love your hat. Get off the fucking plane.
Samantha says I have to get students to create videos from home. I feel like I feel like I don't really work with students like that. Like a lot of the students that I worked with from like the LGBT club all graduated. And so like I've been trying to get some student engagement stuff and do Zooms and stuff, but like it's hard because everyone's just kind of like nobody's on campus, nobody's like really active. So they're just trying to like live their life. And if they're going to go to a Zoom call, they're going to go to a Zoom call with their friends, not the one hosted by the college.
Right. I will say like our students, because one of the things that I've been having to help with is pulling orientation for, more than 4,000 first year students online.
Oh, gosh.
I know, right? But our students have been superstars. Like the entire group of them signed on to remain like in this virtual format, even though they were given the option to not, because that wasn't the experience that they signed up for. And it is just, I'll gush about our students all day because they show up when we need them to be there with us in the work.
The reason I dropped out of my master's program was because it was online. So I could not. There's some good news though. I've just reapplied to be in another master's program online. So we'll see what happens. So I'm hoping to get my master's in social work with a clinical designation so I can be a therapist without doing all the therapy stuff. I mean, you still have to, but it's different. Different path to get to the same place. My brother is
literally doing that right now. My brother went back to school right before this all started.
That's awesome. I think I'm nervous. So
he went back to like, I think he like went back to consulting like in the meantime, because he's like, I'm not gonna do this online classes thing when I can just take a little bit of a gap. I feel like a lot of people don't really do well in that online classroom. And I know I don't. I'm too much of a procrastinator. Well, but speaking of online classes,
that was my issue.
Speaking of online classes, Zsa Zsa, tell us a little bit more about Drag Me to Class.
So Drag Me to Class is an online series that I created during the insanity of COVID. It's currently on hiatus because I'm busy doing other things. Almost said something incriminating. I was like, oh, I can't say that on the internet. The cops are going to get me.
Oh my gosh.
But Drag Me to Class, the format changes a little bit week to week depending on what I feel like doing. But it's an educational series. So the first couple of weeks, I talked about topics such as sharks and coral biology. Another week, I had a special guest, Anita Sig, and we talked about queer culture in Victorian London. I also did a COVID-19 and virology 101 rundown. And yeah, I don't know when the next one's going to be, but it's a fun, engaging, educational drag shenanigan.
Shenanigan.
We stand. I say that a lot. I say it more when I have more vodka, but kind of conserve. I feel like it's the apocalypse, and I don't know the next time I'm gonna get vodka, so I have to like, okay, one shot this time, bitch.
Did you all see that that article I posted the other day? Like someone in 2012 predicted that the peak of social unrest and violence would happen in 2020.
I did not see that.
Oh my God. It was basically a social scientist who looked at like cycles of like wars and like civil rights and violence, all this stuff, and kind of did a predictive model and was like, 2020 is going to be the bad year before things get better again. And it seems like they may have been right.
They might have been.
I wish I would have seen. I wish I would have seen that. Well, I wish I would have seen that before I got my hopes up, because I walked into this year. I'm just like, yes, we gonna leave so much behind in 2019. No. We gonna do some dumb stuff. No, ma'am.
It's like
2020 was like, nah. 2020 was like, not today.
So I feel like 2019 did that too, and 2018 did that too, and 2017 did that too, and 2016 did that too. It's like,
look,
can't catch a break.
Every year since I got out of undergrad, which is 2012, every year I go into the year thinking this is gonna be terrible. That's just who I am. I'm riddled with anxiety. I go in and I'm like, it's going to be terrible. And sometimes it's less terrible than I feel, but it's always terrible. Ever since 2012. They were like, when I had more responsibilities, I had to get a job and shit. Everything went to shit. Everything went to crap.
Sounds about right.
I was like, oh no, I got to work to live in this house? I don't get it.
Bills in this economy?
No, ma'am. Don't you? I put some highlighter on it for you. Can I just stay here?
Highlighter. I honestly, highlighter is my favorite part of makeup. Just love the shine.
Really? Mine is always lips. I do a lot.
I love lips. I started with lips. Lips was the first thing that I started wearing, like makeup wise, was lipstick, because I just loved.
Oh, I thought you meant you start your face with lipstick, and I was like, now how the fuck you do that?
Definitely not. No, but like so before I did drag, I was like just kind of exploring gender. And so one of the things that I started doing is wearing like more femme clothing and like wearing some makeup. But the first thing that I really wore was lipstick. And I had this bright purple lipstick.
I remember that. I was present for that.
I still have that lipstick. It's almost empty, but I still have it.
What brand is it? Do a little plug.
It's ColourPop, So Wavy. It is no longer a color. They discontinued it.
It's no longer in production.
They discontinued my two favorite shades of lipstick of all time. Both were discontinued by ColourPop. And I was like, ColourPop, I love you. You make great lipstick for $7, but
how dare you?
My favorite colors.
Oh, my favorite lipstick color is black. And I hardly ever wear it, but I love it.
Patty, if you're watching, I still haven't found your black lipstick. I'm looking. I promise.
Procrastinator saying they're looking for something. We'll see.
When I move my drag closet from my bedroom floor to the second bedroom, I need
to the second bedroom floor. Let's be real.
Let's be honest.
It's like,
I know that honestly the biggest thing right now is that like once my closet door gets blocked because it opens like out, once something is in front of that door, things just fall on the floor there and they stay there until I clean.
Well,
I am not a type A person. I am messy.
Oh, I'm very
creative.
I'm very messy.
Oh, Samantha says, I still wear the brown you bought me, Paula.
Oh, you're welcome. Back when I had disposable income. Bitch, now I'm poor. You send me something. I was like, oh, you like that shade? Here you go.
I'm sorry.
I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Okay.
Black eyeliner on your lips?
I mean, It
You gotta
works.
do what you gotta do.
I use black
In a
eyeshadow.
pinch.
Actually, I used eyeliner to line my lips today.
Look, lining is one thing, but filling it in, because I think this is a fill-in. That sounds painful. And like it won't come off.
If it can go in your eyes, it can go in your mouth, right? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
But I feel like it
Eye safe
stays
is also mouth
more,
safe.
because I can't I can't weep off.
Weep it off.
Eyeliner stays on. And
Words.
lip liners don't stay on. Fuck all y'all bitches.
But yeah, no, it's funny because if it's eye safe, it's mouth safe, but it doesn't work the other way.
Well, yeah.
If the lipstick is vegan, it's normally eye safe.
I put on a lot of glitter today. I have not used glitter since I started drag because I boycotted glitter, but I never threw it away. So it's the same glitter that I had.
Yeah.
It doesn't expire, right?
I don't think it's just plastic, right? I don't know. But I stopped using glitter for a long time and I still find it places. I'm like, this is never going away.
Yeah.
So there was an event in Philly that had like little like sperm shaped like confetti thingies, like confetti glitter. Like it was like a sex positive like party. I think it was PGMC that did it. And so I didn't go to this event. I was not free that night. But someone like showed me like all these little glitter like confetti things. I did not go to this event. Someone showed it to me, did not really touch them or get like. A month later, I found one of those little sperm confettis on my stairs in my house. And I was like, how did this get here?
How did you get here? Why are you in my house? You're like, why?
Everywhere.
I did a glitter beard one time. It was like 8 months ago, and I'm still finding glitter from it. It was the last time I touched glitter.
Y'all don't know how to do glitter.
I've done glitter beards too.
Glitter beards are actually very easy to get rid of the glitter, and you have to do it right, though. A lot of people do it wrong. They put like beard oil and then just throw glitter in it. It's like
beard oil. They make oil for your beard.
Yeah, that's not. I use Elmer's glue, like the school glue, the like white glue, and I brush it into my hair, and then I put
What the fuck is wrong with y'all? You know, there's a thing called glitter primer that you could put on anything to make the glitter affix.
No, but the reason I use Elmer's glue for my beard is because when you go to wash it out, the glitter gets stuck in the glue and it all rinses away.
That sounds disgusting. I have a tactile phobia. I can't be with this shit. I hate being sticky. I don't eat pancakes. I can't eat pancakes because they're sticky. I can't touch sand because it's gritty. I can't.
Gritty.
But I can handle gritty.
Everyone says gritty. And I like that word has no other meaning now besides
gritty.
Has gritty.
Paula.
What's
the more you know.
Oh, I have so many phobias and anxieties. Y'all even like, I'm a ball of crazy. I don't even take medicine for it anymore.
What did you say, Zsa Zsa?
Have we spotted Gritty at the protests yet?
No, I feel like NHL's too chicken.
I'm going to say something that might be...
Too chicken to do it, I dare you.
Look, I was going to say something. Gritty is hockey, and hockey is not the first thing I think of when I think of Black Lives Matter. It's like,
I didn't
what's the difference?
Batman and Joker at the protests, but...
What's that? You didn't expect what?
To see Batman and the Joker at the protests, but they showed up, and so did Elmo.
I would.
Yeah, Supergirl was there yesterday.
Who?
Oh, yeah.
Supergirl.
Oh, yeah, I saw Supergirl, yeah.
And glitter is a way of life, though. True. Facts.
It is.
I need to get biodegradable glitter, though, because real glitter is terrible for the environment.
Yeah,
like
that's why I boycotted it, but I felt bad throwing it away because I bought it. I bought a shit ton of glitter, and then I found out. And I was like, oh, I didn't think this would be bad. It's just sparkles. But it was bad. And I was like, oh, shit.
There's a lot of opinions about glitter in the comments right now.
It's intense. I want a biodegradable one. That's all. But
the black
I feel
plague
like...
of the art world. Or wear it every day. You'll never have this problem again. That's true. If you always wear glitter, you can't accidentally have glitter on you.
True, because you just know that it's going to be in existence. It's just going to float around in your orbit. You know, there was one time that I found a piece of glitter on my taint. I don't know how it got there.
Well, how do you see your own? What?
I
Where's
found
my
red glitter
mirror?
on my toilet, and I've never worn red glitter in my life.
Do I have it? Do I have any? Can you see it? Is it any in there?
Oh no,
Okay.
not from this angle, at least.
Good.
So
Okay.
what Chris is saying here is my absolute least favorite when it comes to glitter is when you think something has metallic thread and it just like sheds glitter everywhere, like a piece of
Oh
clothing.
yeah.
Right.
I got some thrift store buys that do that, and I'm a little pissed.
My grandmother wore a blazer like that to my cousin's wedding, and she got glitter on everything, like literally everything.
Aw.
But you can't get mad at grandma.
Aw. I love old people who are
No.
oblivious to what they're doing.
I don't know what this is in reference to.
Right, because that could be a reference to a lot of things.
This was a little while ago. This was like 3 minutes ago. So I've already forgotten what happened 3 minutes ago.
Oh, because I can't handle sticky things because of my
Right,
tactile
yeah,
phobia.
yeah.
You can't do
No
like
pancakes.
syrup.
No,
Mm-mm.
syrup really. I have it. I use it sometimes, but it really bothers me. Also, Band-Aids. I can't putting them on me, and I'm like, oh, but I gotta cover it, or it's gonna get infected. Then I have an anxiety about getting an infection. Then I think about sepsis, and I'm like, oh, that's a terrible way to go. Then I'm like, if I'm in the hospital healing and I might recuperate, they're gonna be like, oh, that's a black male body. We could save this white bitch instead of that black male body, and then I'm just gonna be dead. So I'm thinking all kinds. I'm thinking 30 days into the future with this sepsis, just because I had a Band-Aid that I didn't want to put on.
And I thought I had anxiety. Like, damn.
Right.
Like,
And some of
y'all
those
know what?
anxieties, I wish I could tell you not to feel them, but girl.
It's like my dad put a lot of this into me. He told me, don't be an organ donor. And I was like, why not? I want to help people. If I'm dying, then they can take them. Why not? And then he's like, they'll just take them anyway. I'm like, what?
but like, I mean, I know this is a show about like, nightlife and shit, but let's talk about medical racism because like that's a real thing.
It is. It's a scary thing.
Like,
I never like. I'm grateful for my primary care physicians because they are very woke. Like my podiatrist is recently out of school and she's Indian and she's like, I'm here for it. And then my primary care physician, she's like bohemian white woman who's like, yes, so you're queer. We love that. I'm like, thank you. I love it too.
We love that.
So
But yeah,
I was real strategic. So
yeah, for those of you who have not really heard about this, like we're not just like talking anecdotes here. There's like study after study that shows that Black people get different care in the medical system especially in the US. But like they think that doctors have like this subconscious belief that Black people don't feel pain the same way, or that and women don't feel pain the same way. So Black women actually get it even worse.
That's what I was about to say too.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Zsa Zsa, I feel like you'd have more to say on this because I know you have like a biology background. I was like waiting for yours. Like, what are you gonna say?
I had too many seltzers. Sorry.
Oh gosh.
Too many Trulies, honey.
Like, my face just feel a little warm. I'm gonna say
4 White Claws in. But medical racism. Don't do it.
Great. Beautiful.
I'll try my best.
Check.
Put that on my tombstone. Doctors, a lot of it is that doctors tend to actually not trust what patients are saying when they're of colors or femme identifying, and will dismiss them saying that they have pain, that they're having symptoms, and they'll write it off as like, oh, just hysteria, oh, you're just being complainy, you don't actually have serious symptoms.
And I found
giving a lot of tests that are very necessary for like catching heart attacks, for example. A lot of times they'll just be like, just take an Advil and move on with your day.
Yeah, and I've gotten that so many times. I have learned a fun fact about, you're learning so much about me during this thing, but I left home around 16 and a half. So a little earlier than other people, not super early, but I was an independent at that point. And I was like, this is when I had to start really thinking about my future. Fortunately, I had a lot of people supporting me who weren't necessarily biological family who helped me navigate that. And it wasn't until after college that I had to actually be like, okay, now I'm really, really on my own. So I've had to learn, if they're asking me what my pain is on a scale from 1 to 5, if my pain, or 1 to 10, if my pain is a 5, I have to say it's a 7. Like I have to know, like I have to balance that out. And then I also go in with research. And I know a lot of people feel like if they're looking at WebMD, they're going to think they have the worst things ever. You have to go in with a sort of clinical or empirical mindset, and you like really narrow down what you could be experiencing and not just sensationalize it, not be so afraid. So like I've gone in with these perspectives. Like when I went to get on PrEP, I went in with all the statistics. I went in with my habit. I had my track record, my background, and I was like, this is, luckily my primary care physician was just like, okay, you want to get, but I know that there are instances where that wouldn't have happened. Like, are you sure you need to get on this? Or and like, no, I want to do it. It's my body. I know what the risks are. Give it here. Like, so it's scary. And then like the dentist, like I've had friends who've gotten 4 of their wisdom teeth pulled out at once. And they're like, here's an extra strength ibuprofen. And then I have another friend who's not a person of color. Who's not a person of color, gets 1 taken out, not impacted, not any more invasive, and gets Vicodin. And I'm like, wait. I was like, even if it wasn't for your mentality of, oh, they feel pain less, wouldn't that be some kind of like balance there? There's also the stereotype of drug use being more what is the word I'm looking for? More prevalent in minority groups. So they don't want to prescribe something that might have an addictive quality to it because they might not use it. They might sell it, or they might overuse it and become addicted. And like, again, biases and stereotypes built into the medical system because of our culture.
But that's also part of why the opioid crisis mostly hit white communities, because they weren't prescribing it to Black communities already. So like, not Black communities, Black individuals. So like that bias actually created, like, I mean, there's a whole documentary called The Pharmacist, which I've been meaning to watch, but like, I feel like I've been staying away from heavy topic documentaries recently. There's just too much going on in the world.
I just watch violent anime, I'm telling you. That's where it's at. Watch violent anime, and then you want to punch shit, which might not be good actually, but it's where I am.
One thing while working for hospital was that doctors will also tend to kind of like write Black patients off as like, oh, they did it to themselves, or like, you know, like they're using drugs, so they have health complications because of that. So like, why bother really giving them the care that they deserve, because they're just going to go out and harm themselves again. But like, white bitches would come in with alcohol poisoning, and they'll be like pampering them, and not treating them the same as they are.
It's like, no, the Hippocratic oath.
Well, like also like alcohol's a drug too, but it's a socially acceptable drug. So like we look at alcohol users differently than we look at drug users. Even though
don't be coming for me, Beary. I know it's your show, but don't you come for me. But yes, it is a socially acceptable one. Marijuana is becoming more socially accepted. Just think back to the days of, what was it, 16 teens, when people were just in opium dens, or am I way off in my time frame?
Honestly, 17? Anything that happened before like the 80s, I'm like, it's all the same to me. Like it all
the 80s, before that, you know how much time happened before the 80s?
I have no idea, like, if something is closer to us or the pyramid. Like, I have no idea. Like, it's
closer to us or the pyramid.
That's a pretty fast time frame.
Honestly, like, the thing that's helped me with that is, like, like shows that are in certain time periods, like be like this is when Mad Men was happening, and this is when like Marvelous Miss Maisel was happening. Like that's actually helped like a little bit more on like what the decades are and like how things were. But I feel like there's like such I mean, representation of course is always lacking, but I feel like there's like a lot of the shows that are in certain time periods only tell white affluent stories. So you're missing out on like what was happening in the Black community and the queer community with like immigrants. Like there's just so many different stories that were happening that don't get told. It's like there's things that happen simultaneously that you're like, wait a second. Like, did you know that Barbara Walters, Martin Luther King Jr., and Anne Frank are all the same age? They were all born the same year. Like that just makes no sense to my brain.
Vastly different experiences. So you're associating them with vastly different times, but it was all
real. They also all became famous at different points in like different decades, but at the same like so they're what we know them from is at different points, but like they were all born the same year.
Wow.
Wow.
We got
that was the
wiki, like Wikipedia.
The more you know.
Well, we were ranting about different educational topics. The comment section was going off on different nicknames.
Oh, I've been watching.
So there needs to be a drag/burlesque version of Gritty named Glitty. And then Samantha said Clitty.
We ain't here.
Did you see the umlaut over the I though?
Yes.
Is it glitty or is it something else? I don't know what the umlaut do.
What does that do?
I know it's
Glitty. Glitty.
Absolutely with bearded fringe.
Yeah, beaded fringe.
I was going to say titty, but I thought that'd be infringing on Icon's brand. Speaking of which, we're soon going to be infringing on Icon's brand if this show goes much longer. So unless anybody has other questions in the comments, I think we're going to wrap this up soon. But, here we go. The I makes it copyright free.
The umlaut over the I.
There we go.
Which actually looks like a really long penis with tiny testicles. You go.
Is it a dotted I too? So it has 3 testicles. Oh my god! Imagine if it was a lowercase I. It would have like 3 testicles.
But in a triangle shape.
I love how Bretso contributes with like emojis and stuff. Like no copyright. And then don't ever mention citrus around Bretso.
Why not?
You'll find out in the comments in about 3 seconds.
Can't wait to see this.
I just got a lot of oranges.
Honestly,
recently.
the delay on this is always frustrating because I'm like, I want to see like the responses, and I'm like, any questions? I gotta wait for 20 minutes.
You gotta keep it open and mute it in a separate tab on your computer. That's how I keep up with it.
It's like the delay of like what we're saying right now won't be seen by our audience for another like 5 seconds.
They'll figure it out.
There we go.
No But how are you going to prevent scurvy, Brett? So scurvy is a terrible disease. Do you know what happens? It's one of my anxieties. So I have to get vitamin C. That was a joke. I'm not that afraid of scurvy.
Look, there's
no lemon.
There's now multiple.
No oranges.
I believe he's allergic, and that's why he doesn't like citrus.
None of it.
Oh no!
So
I'm making my famous lemon bundt cake with citrus alternatives. Citrus alternatives.
Feel free to pass it. Yeah, feel free to pass that over here, honey. Okay, if Bretso can't have it, I will. I share as well.
Bundt cake.
I'm gonna be real honest. Like, I do not know what a kumquat is.
A kumquat is like a little orange thing. You can eat the skin of it though. It's a little bitter. It's a little bitter. I use it for jams and shit.
Never been much on citrus rind / like I don't like zest is like fine, I guess, but like Rita's water ice drives me crazy because when they make their lemon water ice, they put the peel, including the pith. When they zest their lemons, they get the white part in there. So it has this like weird bitter taste to it. And lemon is normally my favorite flavor of anything. And so I am very disappointed with Rita's because they put the pith in their lemon.
Come on, Piff.
Pith.
Let's
Piff
get
it.
Piffany.
Pith.
Piff, just Piff.
Pith.
No rhyme.
What's something that rhymes with pith? I don't know. Let's not do this. Anyway,
I
is
was
there
like, oh.
show up because we've been going a while actually. Y'all been fun to talk to, so I didn't even notice the time. But is there anything y'all would like to plug or talk about before we close out? Let's go around and start with Zsa Zsa.
Black Girl Magic this
Saturday.
It's the 13th. I had to count. I can do that now. I learned how to count.
Yeah, I'm listening all the time. Just go follow Vinchel's page now because there's gonna be a few plugs from Vinchel tonight.
Vinchel, go follow her. Black Diaries, Black Girl Magic, all the fucking amazing things she's doing. Period.
Yes.
Period.
Paula, what about you?
That's how. I would also suggest going to see Vinchel's page for everything. We're going to be doing the Black Diaries tomorrow, featuring Jasmine Masters. We have a lot of things to talk about. Yeah, we're Black, so watch the show. And then, in addition to that, I do plan on doing my digital shows. So follow the Paula Deen-White if you don't already, because even though they're on an extreme delay, I will be doing Paula's take on country, but only those country musicians and artists who have spoken out about Black Lives Matter movement. Otherwise, they're not in there anymore.
Is Dolly Parton?
Know.
I feel like she
I
probably.
don't know. I have to do the research. Originally, it was Sugarland, Dolly Parton, Jewel, some other people, but now I have to reevaluate and look at their social media and shit. And then also Paula's take on Broadway, which I think they're all pretty good. So, yeah, follow Paula Deen-White.
Whenever I think of Dolly Parton, I think of Little Piece's number, Working 9 to 5.
Oh my gosh. That is one of my favorite. The first time I saw that, after they came off of the stage, I was like, do that all the time.
I would literally never get tired of that performance, like ever. What about you, Christian? Anything to plug?
Yeah, I would say if y'all are out there doing the good work on behalf of Black Lives Matter, keep it up. But also take time for yourselves. I believe it's Audre Lorde that said that self-preservation is an act of political warfare. So we got to be able to take care of ourselves. Also, keep an eye out for the June 2020 issue of The Advocate magazine, because my beautiful face is going to be in it. So y'all are some of the first to find this out, but I am on the 2020 Champions of Pride list. So they choose someone from every state, and I'm representing the great state of Delaware. So I'm excited about that. And stay on the lookout for me headed to a stage or a box in a club somewhere near you when we're all out of social distancing and back to regularly scheduled programming. In the meantime, I will be here in my house perfecting my craft.
Yes, and if you would like to support Black artists and people of color, check out our tips up here and down here. Our tips tonight are split between all of our guests and the Black Trans Protestors Emergency Fund. So please donate if you are able to. And to close out the show, piss in the water ice. Yes, it is disgusting. Don't do it. Thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all next week, Tuesday at 7:30. Thank y'all for being here. Have a good night.
Bye, y'all.